Hey guys, Pitmaster here. Today I'm going to talk about a subject that's very important in martial arts. I think most martial arts schools, and I might be judgmental here, don't take it seriously enough. We used to take it too seriously at the pit, and it was all we were about. And there was a lot of injuries, a lot of blood. And since I pulled back a little bit and changed the strategy, I don't think it's quite as brutal. But I don't think anyone on this planet, even our top UFC fighters, will ever say, "Wow, you train at the pit? I heard that place is wimpy." The pit is not wimpy. It'll never be wimpy. It's still a very, very old school martial arts and fitness gym. A lot more family oriented, but nobody will ever think that it's not hardcore. It is a very hardcore place, but the sparring isn't like it used to be. It's still tougher than any other, traditional martial arts gym that I know or I've ever seen in my entire life. But it's nothing like it used to be. And I think that's a good thing. I don't think the way we were before, which was sparring every class and beating the hell out of each other, full contact everywhere, blood all the time. There's always cuts, bloody noses, broken ribs, broken jaws. It was so brutal, and I thought that was the only way I could be a tough martial arts school, and I wanted to have the toughest school in the world, and that was my thing. And I thought if I changed that ever and did less of that, I would be a wimpy school and I would be selling out. I was wrong. I admit that. And I'm still not a wimpy school by anyone's standards, including the toughest schools in the world, which I think we are one of. But we don't beat the shit out of each other on a daily basis, punching in the face and trying to kill each other. It doesn't work that way anymore. Now we train a lot smarter. Still hardcore, very hardcore, but a lot smarter and safer. We don't need to be cut all the time or risk subdural hematomas or have prolonged brain damage, dementia pugilistica. We just don't need that. So we don't train like that anymore. But I do, if you have a school, I think it's imperative that you make your people spar. And realistically spar as much as they can without really hurting them. But there should be a punch, a kick, a takedown thrown. It should be as close to the real thing as you can make it without really hurting your students. And that's a challenge. But it can be done, and I think we do a great job of it. I don't remember the last injury we have, but my students train and spar very hard. I suggest, if you're a school owner or a trainer, your students should spar at least twice a month, minimum. I like to spar my advanced class. Usually once a week we do a little bit of sparring. Sometimes we'll skip a week and just do more drilling, and then maybe it's 3 times a month. But they do spar. And the reason being is giving your students a false sense of security, like so many of these karate schools, even in my neighborhood, they teach these, crazy techniques, which would be great if they worked, and they explain them like they do work. And then when they spar, they're not allowed to actually make contact. So they think they would have worked if they did make contact. Guess what, guys? They won't work. They'll never work. They don't work. When they've ever done those realistic fights like Kung Fu against this, or I've seen them. I've taken part in them. The Kung Fu guy always loses. And the traditional karate guy usually loses too. Okay? I mean, if you're Kyoshi Shinkai or Shotokan or Kempo, you have a lot better chances. But if you're keeping your chambered hand here when you're fighting, okay, you're going to get knocked out with a left hook. You cannot defend a hook if you're chambering your hand here. You don't ever do that. It makes no sense. Okay? that looks a lot better and it looks cooler. But guess what? The second you bring this hand back, boom, I'm going to hit you with a left hook. And guess what? From here to trying to block it, it won't get there in time. I guarantee it. Okay? Keep your hands up. Always. Even if you're just sparring to the body, keep your hands up because you need to practice this. Okay? That's why when your guys are sparring to the body, once in a while, I like them to slip one up just to keep the hands up. Okay? So, like I was saying, I do spar my guys. They go hard to the body. They do leg kicks. They do sweeps. They do takedowns. And some days I let them go to the face. Very short rounds. Just to get it going, just to get a couple punches in, see how it feels, make sure they're defending right. The most of my sparring is to the body with very light contact to the face. Takedowns are allowed. Okay, if you take takedowns out of your sparring, you're doing them such a disservice because they're not going to get in the practice of defending the takedown, and that's not a good thing. Okay. So that's what I recommend. I recommend sparring once a week. A lot of guys love sparring. They even come on extra days to spar. My guys come in Saturday mornings to spar. My hardcore guys. But make them spar in class. And if that's a day they don't like, I mean, you know, it's not like you're sparring the whole class and it's once a week or once every other week, you know. But I think it is doing them a disservice if they never have to spar. Okay? So that's how I feel about sparring. I think it should be kept in the curriculum, but I drill more than I spar. Okay? And then I spar once a week or maybe once every other week, depending on what else I have going on that week and what my curriculum looks like. Okay? So that's my take on sparring. And if you have any questions, please call me, text me, tweet me, anything you need. Email me. I will always get back to you. I'm transparent and I'm here for you guys to make you guys better martial artists. Whether you're here in Arroyo Grande, one of my students, or one of my affiliates, or Ohana, anywhere out there, I'm here for you guys. Any questions? Here you go. My phone number, 805-748-3297. Okay? Give me a call, a tweet, a text, or whatever. Thanks for coming.